Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday. I'm so sorry I'm a few minutes late. I'm here on the Dixie Belle page. My name is Brandy. I am the owner and artisan behind Brush by Brandy. And I apologize, like I said, I'm a few minutes late because we were having internet issues and had to reboot it all, and you know how it goes. So please let me know, come on and let me know you can see and hear me okay. And everyone who is waiting and messaging, I'm so sorry, but I'm here. And despite all that, I've never been on time anywhere in my life, so this is status quo for me. So tonight, you guys, the first thing I want to show you is the end-all be-all, my greatest accomplishment in chalk painting, which is
the sign
that I made. It is the epitome of, you know, my work. This is as good as it gets. So, well, I cannot tell you what it says. I wanted to share that with you. We've been working on this secretary desk together, and I chose to do a secretary desk with you because I think secretaries can be intimidating. Not so much for the outside of it, but then you open this, it's got a little, you open this and look inside, and the insides of these are like, what do I even do with that? So we are going to do the inside of this, not tonight though, so I'm closing it back up. Last week what we did on this is we did the prep work on it. So we cleaned it. This piece was an obvious bleeder. When I kept wiping the rag, it kept wiping colored wood tannins off of it. It was for sure a bleeder. So then we followed it up with 2 coats of Dixie Belle Boss in clear. So it's got this nice matte finish on it. This is the 2 coats of Boss that we did last week. So now I've got the perfect surface. It's clean, it's primed, it's not gonna stain anything. We're gonna lay some paint on tonight. This is the best part, right? This is the reason we do all the prep work and get everything ready, because painting is the best part. I love painting the best myself too. My husband Sean is here, you guys. If you have any questions, please pop on and let us know. Sheila, if you're on here, has already warned me today that she has questions tonight. So
just in general?
That was me preparing Sean for Sheila's questions.
Can't wait. And here we go. Yeah.
She's on. And Nancy too. Nancy, thank you for messaging me. I'm sorry I was so late tonight. So now that I've got this nice matte chalky finish with the Boss, I actually love laying paint on top of Boss because it makes your paint go on so nicely. But what I do before I paint on top of this is, just to get rid of that little bit of chalky gritty feeling, is I just brush it with a sanding sponge. So this is a 120 grit, but it's a super warm 120, so I would say a 220 for this. And I'm not even going to sand it. I'm just going to come through and brush my piece.
Wow, Sheila, right out of the gate. Did I use the Husky sprayer to put that on?
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. So Sean and I ordered a custom range hood for our kitchen. We just built our house. Our kitchen's brand new. I didn't like our range hood that came with our cabinetry. And so we ordered a new range hood and we sprayed. I've never sprayed before because it's always kind of intimidated me. By we, I mean Sean.
I was going to say, there was no you spraying anything.
I was highly supportive of you the entire time. We sprayed the range hood with bronze patina paint, and then I sprayed it with the reactive spray and got a really nice patina finish on it. And then we came back and I sprayed it with gator hide on camera the other night. That video is on my page. So that was kind of our first experience with spraying. If you guys watch Pam at 44 Marketplace, she sprays all the time. She's the expert. And I actually watched a whole bunch of her videos before doing it. By I mean Sean. We're a team, right? It's a community property state.
Oh, good.
Okay. So then I will take just a slightly damp rag and I'm just going to wipe away that little bit of sanding dust I just created. I know you guys can't feel this on camera, but if you feel it, it's just ever so slightly smoother than it was before that light little sanding. So that step took us like, what, a minute? And it makes a huge difference. So I showed you guys last week some of the things I'm pulling inspiration for this secretary desk from. Number one, I'm pulling inspiration from a transfer. I'm going to be using a transfer on this piece. This is one of the new transfers by Redesign with Prima from their latest release. And it's this beautiful, like, gold metallic script. And I absolutely love it for this piece. So we're going to do some up here on the top. There will be some across here on the body. That's part of my inspiration.
That's the year I graduated high school.
This transfer, 1896. I graduated 100 years later than that in 1996, and that tells you how old I am.
Oh, that's stupid.
This one's called Somewhere in France. Sean and I went to the same high school, you guys, but we went at different times, so we didn't know each other. Sean actually knew my brother in high school, but he's older than me, a lot older. So we didn't know each other in high school. Well, we knew each other, but we just didn't know
done.
the same thing. Anyway, I'm also pulling inspiration. This is a drawer liner I picked up at Home Goods, which is just a really pretty paper. It's a nice quality paper. We're going to line the drawers on this. So I'm pulling inspiration from the blues and grays of the drawer liner. Oh, you know what? I didn't notice this. This is scented. Can you smell that?
No.
Scented drawer liner.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's cool. So
what if you don't like the scent?
Well, I don't know. Put your clothes in it. Spray with perfume. Whatever. It smells good. So I'm pulling inspiration from the blues and grays of my drawer liner. You got a whiff?
Yeah.
It's a little perfume.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little. It smells like probably roses. It's a little potpourri smelling.
I can stay out of my drawers.
It wears off. It doesn't last that long.
Wow.
So some of the colors I chose. So this is my project card for this.
Oh, Dana.
I'm estimating everything out that I'll need for this project and for another one I've been working on. So my goal here was that I'll keep a layer on the cart for each piece I'm working on at any given time. So this top layer is my project cart for this piece. So some of the colors I have out are Dixie Belle Driftwood and Drop Cloth. I love driftwood and drop cloth together. I have out Caviar, Hurricane Gray, Midnight Sky, In the Navy, and Stormy Seas. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use all of these. I really don't. But I like to have them all out just so I can grab them just in case. So I'm going to push this aside.
Thanks for almost taking the toes out.
So this is what I like to have out when I'm laying on paint. I will bring out all the colors, anything I think I might even involve. And like I said, I don't know for sure that I'm going to involve all these colors. My mister bottle, and then literally 52 brushes. So my goal is I want to have a brush for each color that I'm using. And then I like to have out a neutral brush that I use specifically for blending. Sometimes I will use 2 of those, so I grabbed 2. So I want to have a brush for each color that I intend to use. We'll see. Hopefully this is enough or too much or whatever. I choose the Dixie Belle Mini for laying my paint on. I love the Mini for laying paint on. It lays it on super smooth. It holds just the right amount of paint. These are Dixie Belle brushes that are made specifically for painting with chalky style paints. And mine are well loved, but I'll tell you what, as well loved as they are, these clean fabulously. You can tell by the handles on them, you know, how used some of these are. And they're not showing any signs of needing to be rotated out. They're still just as beautiful as when I got them. So I love them for their longevity, how well they clean up. So I'm going to start, I'm thinking I'm going to start with the darker colors here.
Isn't that what you love me too? For my longevity and how well I clean up?
I've seen you clean
Come
up.
on.
It really just means you put on a less dirty white t-shirt.
Thank you.
In fact, I think
that's the clean one.
The one you might have taken off today. Yeah.
Can you save that for tomorrow morning so I can wear it to work?
You want to iron it first?
Look at that urban camo.
Yeah, no. I love you for not cleaning up. It makes me feel no pressure. So I'm going to start with some darker colors down here at the legs, and I want to kind of frame out my transfer. So I'm going to carry them up here onto this top right here, and then I'll get some lighter colors kind of going in the center and further that way. So I'm not going for a straight ombre look. It's going to be a little bit varied. And I'm going to start down here with my darkest color. You know, honestly, I've done this both ways where I start with my dark color and my light color, and it doesn't really matter because this whole process, you'll see me going on it, it's really a back and forth no matter what color you start with. So this is just my first color, and I've always said this, my first color is really just getting my concept together. I'm going to lay some colors on here, get an idea for where I want them, and then my second coat is where I will come back and really perfect the blending on it. So I'm starting out with Dixie Belle Midnight Sky. I love Midnight Sky. Midnight Sky is one of those colors where if you put it next to black, it can lean black, but because I'm using it with blues, it's actually going to lean a little bit blue on this piece. It has blue undertones, and undertones are something that are really, really, really important when you're blending colors. I'm not going to use a whole lot of this Midnight Sky. I'm just going to kind of frame out my piece a little bit with it. Make sure I get under this foot all the way. So when you're blending colors, you want to consider not only the color that it is in the container, but you also need to consider what color it will be when it's thinned out a little bit. Because when you're blending colors, you're thinning it out into another color. So an example would be a color like red. When you're blending reds, think about what happens to a red when you thin it out. They tend to turn pink. So red can be a tough color to do blending with. There are some colors I use more than others for blending, and that's because they stay true to themselves even when they're thinned out. They just turn into a slightly lighter shade of what they already were, which makes it a little bit easier. So I've got Midnight Sky on here. I don't want to do a whole lot. I really just want a little bit. So next I'm going to go into In the Navy.
So is that darker? I'm guessing it is.
In the Navy is slightly lighter than the Midnight Sky.
There
so
we
I'm going
go.
to work slightly
That's for you,
lighter.
Sheila.
I'm keeping out my Midnight Sky with the brush. I just set the brush on top of the container because I probably will come back and add that. Navy is another color that's interesting when you blend it because navies have purple undertones. That's just the nature of navy. It's a dark blue with, you know, a little bit of purpley undertones. So you're not going to be able to tell the difference on camera probably between the Midnight Sky and the In the Navy, but that's what makes a blend so beautiful because you should not be able to tell where one color stops and the next starts until you step back and look at your piece, and then you'll see the subtle differences in the color shading. I'm going to come back with my Midnight Sky, and I'm going to work them together a little bit right here on the edge.
All right, just throwing it at you because it's in there a couple of times. The rollers. Where do you get the rollers?
Oh, my furniture rollers. So I get these on Amazon. A set of 4 is about $25. They're in my Amazon shop. If you search Fresh by Brandy on Amazon, I have a shop in there. My Amazon shop has some of my favorite tools, non-Dixie Belle tools, you know, hardware store items and things like that are in my Amazon shop. So I just keep that as kind of a shopping list. You know, there's a lot of Prima products in there too. They're decor waxes and things I like to use a lot. I try to update and keep in my Amazon shop. So
now, do you have a preferred size? Do you know what size those are by chance?
You know what? I don't.
Okay, just curious.
My other set is over there. You might be able to read it on there. The link that I have in my Amazon shop is literally these exact ones. But you're right, there are different sizes that hold different weights and have different features. I'm happy with these ones. They're the only ones I've tried. Here you can tell the difference a little bit more between the Midnight Sky and the In the Navy. In the Navy, if you're going to blend it, if you start thinning it out, say into a white, for example, it will turn like a purpley color. Like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Susie, this one's for you. You notice that she switched the brushes, so no, it's not one and the same.
I might keep going back and forth between the brushes, and it's going to be really hard for me to keep saying I'm switching brushes every time. So you may just want to watch my hand, but anytime I switch...
you mean I got to pay attention?
Yeah, I know. Anytime I switch colors, I'm also switching brushes. I'm going to move this over this way. Usually I like to only work one side at a time, so I think I'm going to come back to the front, and I'll pay attention to the front, and then I can go back to the side. If I choose to go back to it like that, a little bit of water will reactivate my paint because I want to keep this paint working and movable. when I blend it. So if I'm going to walk away from the side for a little bit, I'm going to need to reactivate that paint when I come back. So this is in the navy that I'm using, and I apologize because I know it's hard on camera to tell the difference between the colors.
It's kind of like a blueberry look to it.
It does. See, that's the periwinkle. That was the word I was looking for. In the navy, any navy for that matter, will turn to almost like a periwinkle blue when you thin it out. So if you're blending in the navy into a lighter color like a white, keep in mind that it's going to turn purpley. It will look like Dixie Belle Blueberry or that, you know, that periwinkle blue color. This is my Midnight Sky brush. I'm going to keep this lowest part in my darkest color, which is Midnight Sky. I may even add a little bit of caviar to one of these corners. Maybe this one down here. I'm going to bring in the caviar. Oh my god. Sorry, that's the consequence of me painting out of my containers is I'm actually just going to use the brush for my Midnight Sky, and I'm going to darken this leg up with a little bit of caviar. You can't even tell the difference on camera. When you put these two colors right next to each other, the caviar and the Midnight Sky, but you know once these are dry, these are different colors, and you will be able to see that tiny bit of shade difference. I just added a tiny bit of water into there, and that's because my paint is starting to set up, and I just introduced a little bit more, so I wanted to keep that moving. So I just added that caviar just in this corner right here. I know you can't tell on camera. So before I start getting too heavy on my blues, I'm actually going to try to just focus on this area. If I try to get up into here, it's going to get a little too big for me to keep wet and working. I'm going to open up this Hurricane Gray, and I'm going to work this Hurricane Gray in. I don't want the blues to get too dark. I want to keep them pretty light. And that's where the gray helps me. The gray is going to lighten up my blues a little bit. So I'm going to spray this with a little bit of water from my mister just to keep my paint wet. I don't want my paint setting up yet. So now I'm going to come in here. This is a brand new brush, and this is Hurricane Gray. And I'm going to start working it in. I'm going to put it where I want it, and then I will start working it into the in the navy along the sides. And I will use brush strokes going both ways. But you can see right there how that adding that gray color lightened up my blue. So even though I pulled it in pretty far this way, it's now taking the blue back a little bit this way. And that's good because I'm going to add still some lighter still shades of gray into this piece.
So from a technical standpoint, what I love are the comments that women can tell the difference between those colors.
Good.
Because that just tells me that the signal is doing well.
Oh, okay.
See, technical.
Yeah, sorry.
Come on.
We were having internet
Work with
issues. Why I didn't... I thought technical like women can tell. Of course you guys can tell the difference between a tiny shade of paint. But really, I mean, they are different.
I mean, just because I see
them
in black and white.
Yeah. Like a dog?
Yeah.
So I dripped my paint here. I'm just going to pull that little drip off and touch that area up. This is my In the Navy brush. And I'm going to pull my In the Navy up into my gray, and then I'm going to pull the gray back down into my In the Navy. So
just to quickly recap, what did you coat this piece in before you painted?
Dixie Belle Boss. This has 2 coats of Dixie Belle Boss on it, which is a stain and odor blocking primer. This piece didn't have any odors. It was the stains I was trying to block. I'm going to brush this vertically. And you'll notice that just made a big mess. I carried my paint up here onto the gray, and I carried my blue down here, and then I can clean that up.
What kind of gray?
This is Hurricane Gray. Hurricane Gray and
And that's what it says on the label?
Does it?
I just want to make sure. I know we do this.
Question myself. Yeah, it's Hurricane Gray. You know what, you guys? That's because the last piece I worked on, I said the wrong color the entire way through, and then realized.
Was it like Manatee or something? Was it one of those?
It was Manatee Gray because I don't use Mason-Dixon a whole lot, and I had pulled out the Mason-Dixon, and sure enough, I got it wrong. So I will keep working these together, and I kind of like this center spot. Like I said, I don't need the blends to be perfect right now. Right now I'm trying to get my colors laid out and see, is this the look I want? Is this going where I want? I'm questioning it in the navy a little bit because it turns purpley, and I don't know how purpley I want this piece to go. So that's one of those things where I will lay this all out, test out my concept, and if it doesn't work, that's okay, because I can fix it in my second coat. So I'm switching back and forth between my blue and my gray brushes. I'm switching back and forth between vertical and horizontal brush strokes. And I'm not trying to keep these colors, you know, in their own section. I'm not trying to create a box or frame or anything. I'm just going to work them together until I can't see those transitions anymore. My hand is getting ever so slightly lighter each pass. And here, where I like how the colors are laid out, but I want to get rid of some of these brush strokes between the colors, I'm brushing them out with a clean, dry brush. And I will use this as my blending brush all the way through this process. So as I go all the way across the front of the piece.
So Aaron says he's offended because the hurricane gray sounds like it's anti-Florida.
Where are you guys having, you guys aren't having hurricanes. Who's having hurricanes right now? Oh no, it's tornadoes. Tornado warnings I've been seeing. Oklahoma.
And then how do you decide whether you're going to base coat an entire piece and then come back and add colors versus what you're doing now?
That's a great question. So you can do a solid color base coat even when you're going to be blending. And the difference I find that it makes is a solid base coat will kind of mute your blended colors. Whereas if I blend both coats, it will make those colors, you know, a little more true to themselves in my final piece. Does that make sense?
And now back to your blending, as far as why you keep the drawers in, and are you worried about them sticking?
No, I'm not, because I'm watching my edges, making sure that I don't get paint gummed up. And then once I'm done and I have my paint all laid out on this, I will come back and pull these drawers out and I will paint in around these drawer frames. So once I have this whole front done, I like how it looks. I'm going to pull them out. So no, don't leave them in. Don't take the chance they get stuck. You want to break that seal and make sure that your drawers don't get stuck. This is driftwood that I'm coming in with now, which is my next slightly lighter color than the hurricane gray. So now I'm going to brush that into the hurricane.
Cheryl wants to know, how do you know where you're going to put the different colors?
I don't. I'm winging it.
This is not paint by numbers?
No, I really am just kind of conceptualizing here. You know, that's what I said, like, you know, if I were to leave this here where it's not blended all the way, it doesn't really matter at this point because this is just the conceptualizing stage. Do I like these colors? Do they work good together? Do they blend well into each other? You know, do I need another middle color in between them? There's all kinds of stuff I'm looking at when I do this. I don't do sample boards and stuff like that. So this really is where my concept comes together.
And then what brush are you using for doing your dry?
I like the oval medium for this dry brushing, the oval medium. And I just take it and I will just kind of flop it around everywhere. And I'm just working out the transition in my paint colors. I try to keep it clean and dry as I'm going. So you'll see me, I keep wiping it off. That's because it's going to start picking up paint. And I don't want it to pick up paint. I really just want it for the bristles. I'm not trying to, you know, lay paint on or anything. Again, this is just the conceptual phase. So right now, I don't need to have these blends perfect. I just try to get them, you know, semi-decent looking. I'm feeling out this in the navy. I'm kind of unsure about it at this point. I might try to minimize it or bring in more of the midnight sky. I just see it turning that purpley color, and I don't know if I care for it. It's probably a little more purpley than I want. This is kind of my inspiration paper. So that may be something I change in our next coat. I'm not going to worry about it right now. This is kind of why I like to show you guys this start to finish, because there's all these spots and stuff that go into a piece that you don't see in the final results, but there could be changes made along the way. So this is the Hurricane Gray. I'm going to do heavier on the gray on this side where this side was heavier on the blue. So I turned my piece a little bit so I could reach this side better. Now I'm going to pull that Hurricane Gray in. Because I'm questioning that in the navy color, I'm going to do a little heavier on the Midnight Sky over here and see if I like that look. This side got a little more dry because it sat for a minute. So you'll see me adding a little bit of water to it. This is the Midnight Sky. And I'm going to work that over the areas that I have the, yeah, I think this might be a little bit closer to the look that I'm after, because the Midnight Sky turns, I don't know how to explain it. It turns, it stays a little more blue when you thin it out with the gray. In the navy's tough because I love in the navy, but it just turns purpley every time I try to blend it. And I keep trying, you know, like I'm not giving up on it because I really do like in the navy. So I'm going to keep going with this Hurricane Gray. My blue is going to kind of fade out as I'm coming towards the top.
Can we just go over the random questions? We're going to go over these again. So spray bottle, where do you get your spray bottle?
My spray bottles are also in my Amazon shop. So these are mister bottles. They're hairstylist misters.
These are questions by fire. So
the hairstylist misters I like because it lays the paint on a little more evenly than just a straight spray bottle. Now, the hairstylist mister, I'll show you because I just did it, is not foolproof to making water spots on your piece. I just made water spots. And that's okay. You just work them back out.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, baby.
Can I be in your life?
Sure.
special visitor.
This is my son, Logan.
Hi, Logan.
He is my only one that tends to like being on camera. My other kids are like, nope, not doing it.
What?
Yeah. So I messed up my blends a little bit, and this will be a constant back and forth as you keep moving up your piece. You're going to have to correct some of the colors before it. So I'm correcting now. This is the Hurricane going into Driftwood. And I'm just using my clean dry brush, and I'm brushing out these spots where I've gotten the paint where I don't want it. So you can see this line right here. This is what the clean dry brush does. I use it vertically and horizontally. My paint is still wet and workable.
I can't see all day.
Careful. I know. And then as far as your seat, where'd you get your seat?
My seat is a mechanic stool. It's a mechanic stool that broke.
Yeah.
So it had a post in it and sat up slightly higher, and then the post broke. And so I took it out, and now I use this for working down low. So it is a broken mechanic stool.
So another thought about that, you know, the MacGyver. So there's garbage cans, usually gray. If you go to Lowe's or wherever, they're gray garbage cans. They come with a roller base
Yeah.
that you can buy, that you can actually use in lieu of.
Yeah.
Should you not want to break a seat?
You know, and I've seen those too. The only thing is, like, they don't have a pad on them or anything, so they would be a little tough on the behind.
What's that, Logan?
You can't usually put more paint on it.
Yeah, that's not what you would do. What would you do to this piece? What do you think I should change?
Put a little blue on right over here.
Do you think that side needs some paint?
Yeah.
Okay. So as we're heading up now, my blue is fading out on this side. I'm getting heavier on the gray here. So I'm going to work a little bit of the blue up into the top. And then we'll kind of be done with our blue.
You are. It's okay, sweetie.
I like how that side was looking a little bit better, so I think I'm just going to steer clear of the in the navy. I'm going to eliminate that one from my color scheme here. And I'll carry this all the way onto the top. Probably won't do that on camera because it would be hard for you to see. But I'm going to kind of let this frame out this part right here. I'm just thinking of that transfer being in the center. And I'm going to kind of emphasize that. I've got my whole mess of brushes down here on the floor. They all start looking the same after a while, but it doesn't really matter because my colors are kind of blending into each other.
I'm catching the sheen, so I'm trying to... There we go.
I can turn the piece too. Let me know if you want me to turn it.
No, you're just lazy. It's okay.
Yeah, that's me. Oh my gosh.
Wait, can I sit right there? Sit right there. That little spot.
Not right here because you'll kind of be in my way while I'm painting.
Oh, and I can get paint on me.
Yeah. So I'm coming back with my clean dry brush and I'm going to pull this midnight sky over and then I'm going to clean that up with a vertical brush stroke. I'm using vertical up here because I'm creating this kind of...
Cheryl's catching me because they're seeing the other piece in the background.
Nope.
Put a little more.
Turn this way.
Yep, get out of there.
Put a
Can't
little
see that one
more.
yet?
Put a little more paint.
I just
on
can't
it.
see that paint very well.
Literally 5 minutes before I got on camera tonight, I was photographing that piece.
And put a little more paint on that thing.
So let's see. I may come back to this next week and like totally not like the direction that it took and change all my colors. You guys have seen me do that. I'm actually going to stand up because it's getting hard for me to reach. This is the driftwood. I brought out drop cloth, but I think I'm going to make driftwood be my lightest color on the piece. I don't think that I want to go all the way into the drop cloth. So I pulled out all these paint colors, and where I think I'm going to end up is using driftwood, hurricane gray, midnight sky, and that little touch of caviar I just put on the corner.
And put a little more blue on.
You think more blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And put a little blue on this side too.
Because that side has nothing, huh?
Yeah. It's just plain old wood that's black. Paint on.
This has a little keyhole. I'm going to paint over the metal on this because I can come back after my paint is dry and just use a little bit of steel wool and I can bring that metal back. I don't usually worry about things like that. There's a piece of my hair stuck in there. Which happens, you know, I see a lot of people that expect, you know, just because we do a lot of pieces that they're not going to have all the signs that a hand-painted piece would have, like, you know, brush strokes and drip marks and all that stuff. And I just want to assure you guys, my pieces have brush strokes and drip marks and all, and I touch up, you know, a lot of them, but there's no way that you're not going to be able to tell that our pieces are hand-painted when they're done. They're meant to be hand-painted. They're meant to be pieces of artwork. They're not meant to be a factory finish. I'm not trying to duplicate a factory finish. So keep that in mind when you...
You're not trying to get it all white.
No, definitely not all white. Just keep that in mind when you're painting a piece, to not be too hard on yourself for what it should look like when you're done. Comparing it to, you know, images you see on the computer. I have a general rule where I really try to not edit my photos aside from cropping and watermarking. Unless I really want a stylized looking photo that you can tell is obviously Photoshopped. But there is Photoshop being used in some of these photos. So when you're comparing your pieces to a Photoshop image. So I like this door up here. I think it's kind of pretty. Something down below is not really vibing with me, and I'm going to figure that out. It might be my color of blue. I did also bring out Stormy Seas, and maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe I'm missing that little bit of lighter blue one. So, you know, that's where I tell you guys, this is my conceptualizing stage. If I come back in the second coat and I add a little bit of the Stormy Seas, that's okay. But this is where I want to get paint laid onto my entire piece. See how these colors work together. Where do I want my transition lines? And then when we come back...
Another Florida color. That's what Aaron said. Stormy Seas.
Another... Aaron, I don't know if you noticed this, but Dixie-Belle is in Florida. And look at all of their paint colors. All of their paint colors are inspired by the South. kudzu, muscadine wine. Every one of them has a tie. So I'm going to bring in, I love Stormy Seas. It's my favorite color. I should just put it on everything. It always works. It's never wrong. Like, just buy Stormy Seas. I love that. That solves the problem that I'm having on the front. I love that. That is Stormy Seas into Hurricane Gray. It is absolutely beautiful. And now if I come back with that Midnight Sky.
Megan caught on to what I was doing.
What?
Trying to hide this piece. You guys are killing me.
I'm kidding. I'm going to post it tomorrow. You guys are going to see it anyways. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, me too.
That is absolutely beautiful. So this is the direction I'm going to take this in.
I want to get off of that sheen from the light.
When we come back to do our second coat, I will make this correction on the front too. But this is Midnight Sky to Stormy Seas to Hurricane Gray, and I'll add it into Driftwood. This is the transition that I was missing on the front. So the addition of that Stormy Seas, take out the In the Navy. I'm glad you guys got to see like that conceptualizing process though. It really goes on. You can go around the other side. You
I can do that?
Have to hide it. I'm teasing. I'm going to post it tomorrow. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's patina. Should I just show it on camera?
Well, hold on, because I want to catch the... I mean, I'm kind of already going to anyway. But I want to be able to show the coloring.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Can you point it out again?
So this is Midnight Sky over here, Stormy Seas, Hurricane Gray. That Stormy Seas just kind of tied those two together. I was trying to go from one directly into the next. It really needed that middle tone.
All right, go ahead and kick this thing out of the way. For a second.
All right, we're doing it. Ready?
Let's just step
Everyone,
aside.
get your family and friends in the room. This
Really?
is the big moment. It's going to be an unveiling.
Is this my retirement party?
Yeah. Hang on, I gotta finish this. My paint's drying. My paint is drying actually here, and I'm still working this with no water up at the top. So I like that at the top. We're gonna go with that. It was the Stormy Seas I needed. You can see on the front here where I don't have the Stormy Seas, it's just a little, it's just missing something. So.
All right. I don't do, yeah.
Ready?
No.
You don't care about that? I'm going to clean up this edge. I've got a little bit of extra paint. Are you really going to show my piece?
Are you okay if I do?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point.
I'm going to post it tomorrow. This will be posted on my page tomorrow,
All right.
guys.
Here we go, guys.
It is amazing. I'm going to come over here and spokesmodel with it.
Hold on, I think the gates of heaven just opened.
This is why I'm a painter and not a spokesmodel. Terrible at this. So, what
All right,
I did
guys.
on this, if you guys are in the Angels and Cowboys group, I painted this on camera the other night. And this is rust patina paint, a combination of copper and bronze patina paint in here. This is a little bit of metallic silver over here, brushed into the patina. It just gets the tint of the patina, but it's got the sparkle of the metallic. And then it's got a whole bunch of gilding waxes. So I've got some...
Let's get on in there.
I've got some copper gilding waxes down here that added some sparkle on top of the rust. There's some teal gilding waxes in here. And then this has diamond dust decor wax on top of the silver. It's pretty. It's really cool. I love patina. It's got a little bit of the efflorescence from the patina paint in here, which is this, you know, these kind of white spots that you get. And then some more waxes up there.
I just get thrilled that you can do this with paint.
Yeah.
This is a wood piece that just totally looked metal. Is super cool.
So the patina paints have metal in the paint that actually decays with a reactive spray. And then I did Here, I'll turn it
Oh
to this side.
man,
This is pretty right
this
here.
is cool.
Yeah, where you can see the rust
Oh yeah,
going into the copper and bronze.
look at that.
I mean, like, I want to say that there's any level of talent to this, but the paint does it all for you with the patinas. So this is pretty much the entire patina collection. I've got iron, bronze and copper, blue and green spray both, that's the entire patina collection right there. And they're all used together on this piece. And then a satin clear coat and then the metallic waxes that you see in there. So that's it. It's photographed. And
I don't do well with peer pressure, so I had to just.
You know, if we're going to talk a little bit about staging, I guess we might as well. This is my staging wall.
Away we go.
It's in my workshop. So when I was staging this piece, some things I considered is it looks fairly masculine to me. It's got darker colors. It's a little bit moody. It looks really well worn. So those are all things I try to pull into my staging. So when I was staging this, I pulled out these stars. These are also painted with the iron patina spray. So they've got that rusty finish on them that ties in with
But
the
these are
rust
true
color
metal,
here.
so.
Yeah, these are metal. They were red originally, like a gross red, and I painted them with the iron patina spray or paint. This is a milk jug that I just got, but it's got all the same. This is not painted. This is naturally rusted. I challenge you to tell the difference between the actual rusted item and the item that I rusted myself. So this has the same characteristics that my piece does. And then...
So we got people trying to find your Amazon store, but they can't.
Okay, I'll post the link on here. I don't know why. I've heard that before, but then I hear some people say they find it no problem. So I don't know what the secret is.
So I think this milk can was in use as of yesterday?
Yeah, fresh milk in there.
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
got it. We just had our milk delivered in there.
Uh-huh. We'll be hitting the hospital today or tomorrow.
It's really cool. I just love rusty pieces like this. And then I always try to pull in a little bit of color with some florals. So for this, we have the oranges and with the rust colors in there. So I pulled it in again in the floral. And you'll see that. Joy, you love the milk can? You better. What is Angels and Cowboys? Angels and Cowboys is a paid painting group. Connie Loftus-Bowman runs that. She also runs the oh, Connie, help me. She runs another painting page that's not paid, but she has her own paid group. And so Dixie Belle asked me to go in and teach a class in her group, and so I did that. I'm not a member of it. I don't sell anything or have anything to gain. I just taught in there. I just taught a class in there. How to use Dixie Belle. And that's just part of, spreading the love around, teaching people how to use the paint. So that is a paid group. So I know that video might not be available to everybody, but it is out there. And even when you guys don't see me on here, I'm usually painting somewhere. Somewhere there's a video of me going on. I'm coming over to the side now. And since I already know I want to make that change and add in the Stormy Seas, I'm going to go ahead and just start adding it in. I'm going to give it its own brush. I brushed in the Hurricane Gray.
Of course, everybody wants to know. We're kind of bypassing this. Everybody wants to know how to paint that other piece now.
Shut up, Brandy. I plan to see if I can pull the video from there and add it to my YouTube channel. If I can, I will. But because it's a paid group, I don't know that for sure that I can. So we will see. If I can get it up on my YouTube channel, I will.
Dana posted a link.
Oh, to my, thank you.
To Connie's.
Oh, to Connie's group. Okay. What's her non-paid page called? I know the Angels and Cowboys group, but how to paint. I don't know. They don't
look this way and ask.
They all get mixed up in my head. How to paint amazing furniture, how to paint furniture, how to, it's one of those. I can post it when I'm off here, but I have to go look. I know when I see like the profile pictures, I know what all the different groups are, but I get them, mixed up in my head. So now that I know I want to add this Stormy Season, my colors are going to be Stormy Sea, or Midnight Sky, Stormy Seas, Hurricane Gray, Driftwood.
I like Stormy Seas too. Just as long as I'm not in it, I'm good.
Oh yeah, well.
I just love the names of all these colors.
Since you're not a fisherman, I think you're okay. Some of it, like we're from California, so some of the color names I didn't get at all. Like I didn't know what a kudzu was. People had to come and explain to me that that's like an invasive vine that grows in the South. We don't have that here in California. So I do listen to country music though. That's my jam. So the only way I know what muscadine wine is it's in country music.
Sorry for shaking the camera. That's your touch into reality.
Were you breathing?
I listen to country music, so I like to keep on the up and up.
Yeah,
listen to what those young kids are doing these days.
No, my kids listen to totally different. I tried, you guys. I tried to keep my kids in country music because it's like it has appropriate lyrics, things I'd be okay with my kids listening to. Nope, they're all into Imagine Dragons right now, which I don't mind. There's way worse things they could be listening to than Imagine Dragons, but. I tried to get them on the country route. They did not listen to their parents. So anyway, my clock's not up anymore.
7.
Okay. So you guys are tired of hearing from me.
Just listening to you, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean.
No, this is keeping me company while I'm painting because now I need to finish this base coat. Got a brush here in my paint. I'm gonna pick it out. That happens too. So I'm going to finish this. What do I have over here? I want to keep my colors consistent as they wrap around. That's what I'll blend into this side too. So I have to finish up this base coat. When we come back next week, I will have a base coat of my colors on here. I'm going to make this change and add in the Stormy Seas throughout.
Oh, man.
And next week we will do our second coat. And the second coat is really smoothing out all these blends. So anywhere I've got imperfect blending, my second coat is pulling it all together. There's, that's where we correct all the mistakes we've been making. That is the final draft. This is my rough draft. Next week we'll do the final draft.
I don't read, write, or math, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Read, or math is that? Oh my gosh. All right, so you guys go to my page tomorrow and I will get pictures up of this piece behind me. I'll try tonight and see if I can pull that video down. I will post a link to my Amazon shop for the wheels. And thank you guys for looking for my Amazon shop. So how that works is as an affiliate, I get a small percentage, and that's what pays for me to do these videos. Same thing with Dixie Belle Paint. If you guys are going to order paint, I always appreciate ordering from my affiliate links. You can also go onto the Dixie Belle website and search for a local retailer in your area. If you want to go in and talk to somebody and see the paint hands-on, you can look for a local retailer.
Colors. Just recap colors that you're using.
Colors. We landed at 4 colors on this piece. We landed at Midnight Sky.
I'm going to get the backdrop.
Stormy Seas, Hurricane Gray, and Driftwood, which is on the front. So 4 colors on this piece. 4. So my side is kind of more of the direction I'm going. I don't care for this blend right here. But again, they don't have to be perfect on this coat. I'm going to wash all these brushes out, and when we come back for our second coat, any places I feel are too abrupt, we will work them out. I think we'll focus particularly on the front because it gets hard to move the piece around. But I try to carry the colors from wherever they are on the front. I will carry those around to the side too. So for example, if I'm dark right here, I want it to be dark as I wrap this side. And so that's what I do. So I like that side much better. I just need to add the Stormy Seas into this front. So I will let you guys go. Please go like my page at Brushed by Brandy. Tomorrow I will get beautiful photos of this piece up and you'll get to see all the metallics in it. It's so pretty.
Everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's terrible weather here, so I hope you guys are having better weather where you are. But I will let you go and I will be back next Thursday and we're going to work some more on this piece together. Bye guys.